This video shows how to connect to your Linux server in the cloud from a Windows machine. Before we see how to do that, I want to begin by talking about the environment that we're using. It's called SytemOnGrid.com, and they provide Linux servers in the cloud at reasonable prices. In fact, they'll get your first year for free on a decent machine. So thanks for supporting our class, SytemOnGrid, and good luck with what you're doing. All right, so if we've set up a server in the cloud, we need some way to be able to administer it because we can't go to the machine physically. And so for that, we'll need a way to connect to it. Unfortunately, Windows doesn't support interacting with Linux machines natively, and so we're going to have to download some software. Fortunately, there's a program that's been around for a long time. It's very respected, called PuTTY. So I'm just going to Google PuTTY. And you might expect that it's putty.org, and that probably wouldn't be a bad place to go to, but it's this kind of strange URL over here in Greenland that's the official site for this PuTTY client. So it is a client that will allow us to connect on to Linux or other Unix machine and just be able to have a remote terminal on it. So I'll follow this link and then we'll download the latest version. So I'm going to download version 0.7 here, and I'm on Windows 64-bit, so I'll just go ahead and get the 64-bit installer. Having me save it. Yes, I'll save it. And then I'll go ahead and open the installer. So going through a setup process shouldn't take very long. I'll accept the defaults. And it's going through and installing this software. And it completed in just a few seconds. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish this, but the program we're looking for is PuTTY. So you can open that from your Windows menu, or you can just type Windows R for the Run window and type in PuTTY. And that will open up the PuTTY configuration window. So this is really simple. All we need to do is specify the name of our user and host here, and then we'll connect. So here's my account on the SytemOnGrid server. Here's the name of my Linux server, and we can see the IP address right here. So I'm just going to copy that IP address and come back to PuTTY. So my username is Ubuntu. So I'll do Ubuntu at, and then I'll put in that IP address. If I can get it copied, here we go. Copy that IP address and paste it in. Port 22 is the default port for SSH, Secure Shell, and that's what we're doing. So we'll click Open. And it's now brought up this window here. It's prompting me for my password, which I'll type in. Now it's authenticating me, and it says we're okay. So that's how we connect onto that server. From here, we can find out what directory we're in and change directories to whatever we're looking for. To close the connection to the server, I can just either close the PuTTY window, or I can type in exit, and that will close it as well. Let's take a look at some of the other options that we have in PuTTY. I'm going to go ahead and start PuTTY again. And I'll enter in our host name, username at host name. So first thing to realize is that we can save this connection. So I'm going to come here to where it says Save Sessions, and I'll just call this SOG_student or SOG_gov. And now if I click Save, that becomes one of these in the list that I can choose from. We'll also notice that we've got some ability to change the appearance. So I can come over here to the Windows section, choose Appearance, or come down to Colors, and I can specify different foreground color or background color. However I want to get this configured. Then to save that, I have to come back to Sessions and then click Save again, and that will save that particular session as well. So let me go ahead and come to one that I've already set up the way that I'd like to have it. And bring that down here. So it's just giving me a blue background with white lettering and prompting me for my password. And that should be authenticated now and a little bit easier to work with. I've made the font a little bit bigger and I think I'm ready to go here. So that's a little bit about getting PuTTY configured and being able to begin working with your server from Windows using PuTTY.